Hey guys, morning. How y'all doing? Ruby, over here. We're out here. We're gonna visit a little bit. I had to set the phone down for a minute. I gotta get my water. Anyway, how y'all doing today? I want to I want to say something. I've been holding it in for about 3 days. I will say that I heard something in the beginning of the Jackie and Lily Sullivan case that we heard repeatedly. We heard Daniel, the stepfather, say repeatedly, I will search for these children for the rest of my life, if that's what it takes. And you know what? Lo and behold, that little thing he did the other day when he talked about the dogs and really basically talked about the unprofessionalism, how they showed up with no maps, they didn't do any research, they didn't do anything, they just started asking him where they search, and like he tried to be the leader, right? That's what he, you know, he's saying he's cooperating, he has to keep saying that over and over again, and you know, but the main thing that he said that really bothered me was how he said it. I think is really heartbreaking, and it has a lot of meaning. I don't think he realized the meaning behind what he said and what people were how they were gonna take it. But when you sit there and you say, well, I'm not gonna be the one going in these woods and investigating. I'm not going out here and investigating. Well, why not? You said you're gonna look for them from day one. Why aren't you doing your part? He just said what he wanted to say in front of cameras. That's what he does. He doesn't do anything. He's lazy. This is a man that only worked 1 day a week. I mean, he's a worthless excuse for a man in my book. I'm sorry. That's just how I see it. As men, we're supposed to provide for our families to the fullest. And man, somebody that don't even want to help. But how do you sit there and dog these people? You know, they were requested by law enforcement to come out there and search, okay? Now, I get it. Maybe they should have had maps, but you know what? Maybe they did have maps. Maybe they just asked him that question. Had he ever thought, well, maybe that man is just smarter than he is, and ask him that question to maybe get that out of him? Maybe they were trying to see what they could get out of him. And then he kept saying, well, it's sad, and they didn't have any maps, and they didn't have, you know, that's why when they come to you and ask you, you should have been like, this is where they go, this is where they normally are, this is where they're not. But you know what? He can't even say that. Why? Because he's even scatterbrained. He said he drove around that morning and searched every culvert. What parent goes and searches culverts? What parent does that? Like, that's kind of stuff. There's some of the, I don't know. I don't know how he's not arrested. I really don't know. I don't know how they haven't solved this case, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not a mystery. There's 2 special needs children that were not properly diagnosed, so there's no telling what was wrong with them, honestly. I know they had beautiful smiles, and they're God's children, and they deserve to be loved, and they deserve to be fought for, and they damn sure deserve all your time and effort to find them, not to, oh, I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm not going to be the investigator and go out here in these woods. What? You're the one that ran out there like Superman in waist-deep water, screaming till your throat hurt, remember? Remember? Or till your voice hurt, sorry. I don't know how your voice hurts. Your voice should be hurting from the emptiness. That's what it should be, if you truly cared about these children. I mean, I think that the picture was painted very clear in the beginning. This was a household that experienced a lot of abuse and violence by one person. And it's so heartbreaking that even when this mother's 2 children vanished, she had to run too. That's how scared she was, I believe, in my opinion. Because no mama's going to leave an area where their kids go missing unless, A, they know where they are, or B, they're terrified that they're next. And the baby was next. You gotta remember, CPS kept him from his kids in the beginning. Why were they involved? Right? They were involved in Jack and Millie's life, evidently. Sad, right? This is when you start wondering, are they going to get away? Is this crime, if it's a crime, right? I might have to say it that way, I guess, but are they going to, is anyone going to be held accountable for these two children just vanishing into thin air, into a UFO and flew out in a space shuttle? I mean, really? That's what they're saying? That's what they think? No. I don't know. I really don't know the whole story about these dogs, but I wish the RCMP would step up and say something instead of letting Daniel Martell make them look like dummies, right? I hope they step up and say something. I hope they do. I really do hope they step up and say something. This man just totally just embarrassed them on national TV, or on YouTube, not national TV, but on YouTube, saying that they were unprofessional, or this, that, and the other. These are people that came out of their way to search for your stepchildren, Daniel, and you're not even showing them any appreciation at all. Wow, that's a Chris Proudfoot in my book. Them two are identical twins, I think. I think Daniel and Chris Proudfoot are two identical people. What do y'all think? I do. I'm just got to look at the camera when I say that. I think they're both two monsters. Sorry, just my opinion. I mean, I can't help to say it. I think a lot of people are going to agree. They've done nothing but taunt everyone, talk about the dogs, cadaver dogs or search dogs, whatever the dogs may be. They've talked about them and picked on them. But what I said was, from the get-go, usually when cadaver dogs come in this late, what do you think is going to happen? I think they're finishing building their case and they're trying to come up with probable cause reasons to maybe make an arrest. That's what I think. And they think, okay, they told us in the very beginning they didn't think these kids were alive. Remember, they said that in day 5 or 6. They told us that. They didn't believe these children were alive. Something led them to believe that in the first couple of days, that they really had to come out and say that. Now they're saying they don't know, but the thing is what do they know? You know, we get frustrated because we don't understand what they understand, or we don't have in our hands what they have in their hands. I mean, there's just been too many craziness stories going on here, and I think that paints a picture overall, because they did say that they don't believe these kids wandered off in those woods. I think the suspiciousness of this from day one in the first couple of hours. So something happened in those first few hours. I don't know what it was, but I've never seen a search party that is, you know, in the first 2 hours of searching, they're like trying to get drones in the air, trying to get everything, trying to find these children. That's what they're doing. They're rushing to find the children. And I think that's, they usually block out everything that goes on, right? But they never stop a search in mid-search, not 2 hours into a brand new search. That's when everybody is go, 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 go. Let's scream their names. Let's find these children. Let's get them back, right? They don't stop and say, everybody come back except for the drones. They don't shut down 2 hours after starting it. Actually, what ended up being the biggest search in Canadian history. They're not going to shut that down for no reason. What made them shut that down? I believe it's something Malaya said that morning. She was working with that drone operator. And from what I'm learning, what I've learned now is this is after Daniel came back from sneaking off. Right when they told him to stay put, and then he snuck off and said a man in camouflage. Nobody ever told him he could go out there. He did it on his own because he probably forgot something. Or he didn't put something where he needed to put it, or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's what it was. But I'm just saying, why would they have stopped that? They completely shut down everyone but the drones in the first 2 hours. 2 hours after the search started. Everybody came back to the little site to meet except for drone operators. That always bugged me because there's a reason. Something changed. Something shifted right then and there. I think that's when the substance stuff may have started flying out. I think everything started painting a picture and they caught it early, and they just couldn't figure everything out. I think it crumbled before them, and maybe part of what they thought didn't pan out, or maybe just one little piece of it didn't pan out. So then they were kind of stuck against a wall, and then they kept giving them poly and poly and poly. You don't give someone 4 polys. It's all you need is one, right? Unless it's inconclusive. Then you're going to give another one, right? Remember Seth Rogers. If it's inconclusive or if it's not right, they do it again, right? There's different reasons. It could be good, it could be bad reason why it's inconclusive. But not 4 times. I mean, come on. There's a reason they did that. There's a reason they gave him 4 different tests. They were asking different questions, I believe. Maybe questions I didn't think of the first time. Or maybe they were learning new things and they threw those questions in there as a trick and he just never caught on to it. I don't believe he passed every one of them. You're not going to tell me that. I don't believe that, because they wouldn't have given him 4 if he'd have passed the first one. They'd been done right there. So something's not right. And they're going to keep that close. That's fine. They're the ones that put up a $150,000 reward, which is amazing, honestly. And that reward does lead you down that road of, okay, when somebody collects this money, we're going to get the truth. You know, that's what they assumed. That somebody else outside that trailer either picked these kids up or knew about it. Because if someone else knew, no matter who they were, they would take that money. I don't care if it's your best friend or your mama. They're going to freaking take that money. And when they didn't, that just paints one more picture for them. Whatever happened there at that trailer. Either in town that evening, which is, I think exactly the Sebastian Rogers case is exactly the same as this case. I think they took those children to town that day and something happened. They already had everything worked out, or she had things worked out, or he did, or something, or whatever happened, I believe happened the day before. They were too jittery, too nervous. He was too jittery. Like, he had time to think about this. That's why I think something probably happened either right after they got back or they never made it back. That's the only 2 choices to think about. But, you know, I've never thought Sebastian made it home either. So, can we prove that? No. But I think it's more provable than non-provable. I think Sebastian Rogers for sure. I think that case with the dogs being there right away, not picking up even a cent on the trash can, and then her saying he had taken the trash out, and then her saying he left barefooted, that would have left so much of a scent behind, especially after going all day on a fun-filled day like that and sweating and sweating and sweating and going and going and going. His little feet would have left so much odor, taking out that trash and leaving that home out a door besides the front door, because we know he couldn't have left out the front door. Remember, stepdad told us, no, you can't. Maybe they're going to get Daniel or Chris. I don't know. I hear the popo like. Anyway, today is a holiday. It's Columbus Day. So happy holiday to everyone. Hope y'all having a blessed one. We love y'all guys. We couldn't do it without you. I know I don't say that very often. I probably don't say that enough. But y'all are the ones that, you know, push us to fight harder in this. And I haven't talked about Jack and Lily much because I think that the truth be known, I think everybody knows that these kids didn't magically just vanish. Like, I think that people realize these things. I think that people see common sense. I mean, what do you do, right? I was kind of taking this and gonna wait, and I was like, man, I don't know. And finally, I was like, you know, might as well just say it. But it just comes a point to where Jack and Lily is, yes, it's very, very confusion in the aspects of the way they separated at the start. That did throw everybody for a loop, and I'm wondering if that was maybe part of their plan, or was it not? I don't know. I mean, a lot of people. I think that Malaya is such a young mother in a way that, according to the biological grandmother on the father's side, Malaya was a good mother. Remember, she did say, I can't take that away from her. So you have to either look at it as, okay, if she's really good a mother, you says, and that means she's going to do whatever she's got to do to protect her kids, right? That's what mommies do. So if this was an abusive relationship, which it looks like it appears to be, there's too many people have came forward about Daniel's abuse and his working 1 day a week. Like everything he does is to control Malaya and keep her there without her leaving. I think he was always fear. I think she wanted to leave and he knew it. And I think what better way it to him in his mind was, if you try to leave me, maybe I'll do something to the kids. Maybe that's what he threatened with, and maybe that's what ended up happening. And then she got scared and just went along in the beginning and then realized, I can't do this, and then burned off. We don't know what she's told law enforcement, but they've never really said anything about her like they've said about him. If you go pull it up and has anyone been charged or anything yet? No, it'll show that Daniel has kind of been the one they've looked at this whole time, and a little bit her, but not really as much her. So I'm kind of like, it makes it hard because we don't know, because she didn't talk. And thank God that he talks, because he spills out so much that he doesn't realize he's spilling out. I mean, that comment just destroyed him again. Like literally, what stepfather, if you really love these kids and you really say you're going to search for them for the rest of your life, but that's what it takes, you never should have made that comment other than to let us know, hey, they're never going to be found. That's what I got from what he said. I don't know if y'all did, but that's exactly what I took from it, because Proudfoot said the same thing, similar. And it's like, hey, y'all can look all you want, you're not going to find them, right? Like, they've made that clear. Chris Proudfoot did, and Daniel Martel did. And Don Wells did. I mean, if you look at it, it's a pattern. Jake Horrow, I mean, they're all the same in so many ways, but yet so different in life in general. Different on where they live, how they are, who they are, their careers, their money, their investments, their life. Everything is different. I mean, we can't say the same things about Daniel as we say about Chris, right? Evidently, Chris wasn't lazy. He liked to work and make money. Daniel doesn't like to work. He doesn't like to make money. He likes to be in control. Well, Chris likes to be in control too. So much control that Chris Proudfoot had a camera in the kitchen to monitor the food. Who does that? But yet, there's no cameras in the home, right? Okay, yeah, make sense. Just like here, the neighbor's cameras, I think, prove a point. A lot of people say, well, there's nothing on the camera. Yeah, there's nothing on the cameras, but to law enforcement, nothing can mean something. Right? That's how I look at it. I'm starting to look at things a little bit. I'm learning. I'm actually taking more notes from my buddies that we're becoming buddies. We're becoming friends. A couple of us, those retired guys that I've come to know, through work and things like that. It teaches you a lot if you just listen. Right? Sometimes those things are more powerful than we think. Right? Like, why would they bring in cadaver dogs? To prove a point, one or two ways. Either they're going to find the kids, get lucky, and stumble upon them, and it all been just a big misunderstanding and they were in the woods, or it's going to be probably what law enforcement thought all along, is they're not in there, and that's why they didn't utilize the dogs and spend that money, because they never thought the kids were in the woods. But to prove a point is, let's put the dogs out there and prove to them that these kids aren't here. Because we searched every square inch of this place. The largest freaking search in Canadian history, and we've not found one thing but a piece of a torn blanket that supposedly been in the trash. They couldn't make up whether the stepdad or his brother or his mother did it. Somebody did it. That blanket didn't get in the tree on its own when it was supposed to be in the trash, according to Daniel's mom, and just a bunch of lies. Like I said, if there was an accident and those kids were hurt, which is what I was told when that blanket was on the back of that four-wheeler, well, yeah, that could be a big reason of why it was there. Maybe he had to get rid of all that stuff because I don't know. I can't tell you. It's just birds, honey. But it's just turkeys. Stop. There's some wild turkeys walking around over here. If I move, they're going to run. Oh, never mind. They're hauling butt now. Anyway, we're kind of out in the jungle today. Y'all can notice a different setup here. I got a board propped up on a tree right now, and it's got the camera sitting on it. But there's just so many things that point the finger. And we can use it in ways of, like I said, sometimes finding nothing. Like, to me, Sebastian Rogers, I think law enforcement knew, okay, we're going to find this kid in the first 5 or 6 hours. He's got to be right here. He can't be far. And then when they search 44,000 acres and then find not even a footprint, a bare footprint, I must say, then they knew Sebastian Roger wasn't in those woods. The same thing here in Jack and Lily. I think early on they realized, in this case, these kids didn't go wandering here because it's too thick. Even Daniel's mother said, and I don't know a lot of people caught it, but she said, I had to pick up Jackie, because she called him Jackie. I had to pick up Jackie because he couldn't walk more than 5 feet from the deadfall. Which means they couldn't have wandered off. Lily's not going to have carried him that far away from the home. More than 44,000 acres away, she carried him. Give me a break. These kids were never in those woods. Never. In my opinion, those kids were never in those woods. I don't know. I still wonder what they found in all these different places, but there's too many red flags. That's what it is. And we needed to go over the red flags again in these cases. That's what I thought about doing today, was maybe coming up with, it's my second day off right now after going back and coming back again to reset my days off. So now I still have 5 days. So I was thinking, you know what if we go back and we go over all the red flags again? And we try to paint the picture with these red flags and see. I think it's going to point us in the same direction, that it's really, I mean, I think Daniel just put the icing on the cake, for me anyway, by him saying that, right? About dogging the dogs. That's like Chris dogging everything, right? Dogging rewards, dogging dogs, dogging this. Like, they always have to blame somebody else, right? That's what guilty people do. And for him to talk that way about someone that shows up with dogs to try to locate your stepchildren that you say you're going to search for forever until you die. Trigger one, that's what you said, Daniel. And then you say, I'm not going to play detective. I'm not going to go out in these woods and do that. No. That contradicts everything you said in the beginning. It just proves to us that everything was lies that comes out of your mouth. That's right. And remember, hey, buddy, Ted Bundy passed a lie detector test too, so don't think you're off the hook, because you're not. Remember, they don't hold up in court for a reason, because it's good or bad. It doesn't matter. Every answer, every question asked to them should be a way to pinpoint a probable cause answer or something. If, you know, I don't know. It's just so many ways to look at it. But anyway, where is little Jack and Lily Sullivan? And where's Mommy? Is she ever going to step up and talk a little more? Why are they controlling her? Why is the RCMP controlling that mom? Why? I've never seen this. In all the cases that we've done, in cases that I've done over the last 10 years plus, like, I've never seen this. Unless the outcome is not good. But never seen like a mom move so far away and never search not one day for her children. Or be allowed to search, right? Like, why did they need her out of that home so quickly with that baby? Why? Like, something that she said to them triggered everything in this. I do believe, like I was saying earlier, I wasn't saying it for no reason at all. I just bounced around other things first, but she knew something. She had to, and I would think. And whatever she told that drone operator in those first hours, that made it ring a bell in that lead searcher lady's head, to where she had wanted everybody back to the command center except for the drone operators. Something. Why didn't they want the drone operators back? And then I kept thinking, why? And then he kept saying, well, think about it. Write it down. So I'd write it down. Because he won't really give me the answers. He makes me find them. And I like that in a way, because it kind of trains me on understanding basics. I mean, I would never be able to learn everything. But, you know, like, look at the reasoning. Like, was she lying out of fear? Was she running out of fear? Was she, like, what? Right? Like, write it down and think about it. And that's what I've been trying to do, is take the pros and cons from everything and try to understand it a little bit more. Why did the mother do this? What could she have possibly said in those first few hours to make them shut down that search, other than the drones? Why didn't they want the drones? I think if they'd have brought the drone people up there, then that means she would have been up there. And she didn't want to be around Daniel. I think everybody, I don't know if everybody understands that, but from the get-go, when law enforcement got there, like, she never went over by Daniel again, ever. She didn't want to be by him. She stayed by someone that was there, whether it be a drone operator or a dog handler. She stayed by somebody until her family got there. And then once her family, then she had her backbone, then she got her backbone again, right? She got her voice again because she knew that Daniel wasn't going to be able to control her anymore, because now she had people around her that she loved and that would protect her. And I think all along she'd been trying to leave this man for a long time. I was told 6 months prior to this she had tried to leave once before, and that the outcome wasn't good for her. And maybe we ended up with a black eye or two. That's what I was told. Now, I don't know if that's true. Only she can step up and say that. But I think she's let people know that he was not very nice, and that I think the family is a members and other people that know him have let us know that him and his brother, that they're not too good of people. And I'm not here to pick on anyone. I'm just saying this is what people say, and they're the ones with the missing children and stepchildren, not us. We have to look at them. They're the ones that these kids vanished mysteriously on their watch. I mean, this man doesn't provide anything. That trailer house has got holes in it. Where they fall in the holes that are underneath the trailer? Like, just think about that. Like, mold problems, critter problems, spiders, insects, snakes, anything that come through that floor. Like, who lives like that? Like, with children that need protection and from getting sick or catching colds, or, right? Like, you have to, I don't know. If anything, at least, if you're not going to work but 1 day a week, at least work on your trailer the other 6 days a week. Be some kind of man. Fix that house for them. You know, make it safe. Fix the sliding door if needed. I mean, I don't think they ever use that door. That's why I don't talk about that door. All these guilty parents, to me, the guilty ones, talk about a damn door. I don't know why. They use a door, I guess, to blame. I don't understand. They need to blame someone, and they damn sure don't want to take the blame themselves. It's the blame of neglect, abuse. It's just sad. Anyway, guys, little prayers for Jack and Lily. I pray that they find the truth and they get justice for these 2 children. This is just a weird one, but it's still heartbreaking. And these 2 beautiful little angels deserve the truth. They deserve justice. They deserve to be found. They deserve to have their voice back, if at all possible, if they're not, with God already. Either way, they deserve truth. Either way, they deserve answers. So I will keep praying for these little babies, and I know y'all will too. And hopefully, God willing, karma will strike, and it will rain down justice on someone. Someone's going to pay the price. Someone or someone's. I mean, I think there's more than one here. I think it's 3 of them. But we'll see. I for some reason, I just have a feeling. Daniel's mom, she did it for me one time. The biggest red flag of her was she went through that whole entire interview and never shed a tear about Jack and Lily. And then the minute they asked her or said something about Daniel, she started crying. So I'm like, okay, he's guilty. Mama just let us know. That's a mama's love. No matter what her children do, they're gonna love their children no matter what. They might not agree or whatever, and they might look at it. And I think the tears, that was tears of pain. Like, I know one day he's gonna be caught, right? And I'm not gonna have him out here. I think that was part of that, and that's what I got from it anyway. That's just my opinion only, but I think that she's let us know Daniel's guilty in so many ways. I mean, you're telling us that this is their swings, and their swings have been tied up with a rope or a cable that looks like it's been there for a year. I mean, don't look like those swings have been down. The ropes are so dry rotted. It don't look like they've even swung on those swings in a year's time. I don't know. Just weird. Just like the path, the trails to her camper, like the little fencings and the little boxes in the corners, and like everything was so sheltered up. Like, it's just weird how it worked. Like, those kids would have went out that backyard. In that backyard, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying they couldn't have got out of the backyard. They could have, but like the odds. Man, these kids, they just didn't want it in the woods. We can go on and on about it all day, guys. I think y'all agree with me, right? These kids did not run off in those dang woods. At least I don't believe they did. And you're not going to convince me that they did. So with that, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But anyway. All right, guys. We love y'all, guys. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Enjoy the day. Don't work too hard. Justice for little Jack and Lily. Justice for all the missing, all the runaways. And all the vanishing ones, the ones that just simply vanish into thin air. Like, you know, maybe we need to start saying separate prayers for the vanishing, right? So sad. Come on, we need truth in here. I think they got some trail they're on, but don't know when they're gonna, you know, that 5%, I always say those 5% of those cases are weird. Those CPS ones, man, you just got to think, because they're, in a way, CPS is involved. That means that there's some kind of criminal intent there, criminal. And that means that they're going to do everything they can to outsmart law enforcement. And that's what makes these cases harder. And that's, you know, it's only 5%. Thank God it's a small number, but I think every case is solvable. It's just, they say there's no perfect crime, right? So then let's get some answers here. All right, guys. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. We love y'all. We're worn out. Y'all be safe. Be good. Have a blessed day. Y'all's comments, y'all's alone, not to reflect the channel. Because we do our research together, guys. On the road. We are big-hearted little families here. And trigger warnings times 100 million always. And allegedly, these are my thoughts. These are my opinions. My free speech. I'm entitled to that, I think. And, you know, we talk a lot of facts here with a little bit of fiction. Because it's not really that it's fiction. It's more of it's opinions. It's opinions. And so I know we got to do this allegedly and all that, but really it's just our opinions. We shouldn't have to, I don't know. Y'all know me. I just feel like we should be able to come out here and give our actual free speech of what we think. And I know as long as it doesn't shred someone apart, which we don't try to shred anyone unless they deserve to be shredded. And you know how that goes. But anyway, y'all know what I'm saying, guys. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty. Let's just start saying that. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. So don't take my word for it. How about that? That's the new one. All right, guys. We love y'all. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk soon. God bless. Prayers for little Jack and Lily. Prayers for all the missing, all the runaways. They run for a reason. Still waiting on a few arrests, you know, like Celeste Rivas Hernandez's case. Woo, man, I think it's getting heated up in here. All right, we'll see what that does too. And all these other cases. All right, guys. We love you guys. I'm trying to remember, is there something I wanted y'all to see? Hold on. I don't know if I put it on this other phone. I got to pull it up real quick. Did I save that? It was something that was put out. I guess I didn't save it. I thought I did, but I didn't. Anyway, sorry guys. All right, well, prayers. We love y'all guys. Y'all be good. We'll talk soon. All right, guys. Bye.